What if I told you there's a bean with more protein than soy, more iron than spinach, and it grows in desert sand with 8 inches of rain, no watering, no fertilizer. Harvest in 60 days, save the seeds and replant forever without buying more. The USDA promoted it during both world wars. Then in 1950, they erased it from agricultural records completely. This is the tepary bean, and this is why it disappeared. Welcome to Nature's Daily Remedy. The tepary bean is one of the few crops native to the United States, domesticated in the Sonoran Desert before the pyramids were built. In 1981, Dr. Lawrence Kaplan at the University of Massachusetts dated tepary bean remains from Mexico to 3000 BCE. These beans predated the common bean by 1,500 years. The Hopi, Tohono O'odham, and other southwestern tribes didn't just eat it occasionally. They structured entire agricultural systems around it. By 1912, the United States government knew exactly how valuable this crop was. USDA Bulletin 68 officially classified tepary as the most drought-resistant legume in American agriculture. Government research stations in Tucson reported yields of 1,200 to 1,800 pounds per acre under rainfall that produced zero yield from navy beans, pinto beans, or soybeans. They measured it, they documented it, they published it. The most revealing era was 1918 to 1945. During both world wars, the USDA promoted tepary to Western farmers as a victory crop that required no irrigation, freeing water for war production. Government posters encouraged planting tepary to reduce strain on water infrastructure. Tepary was framed as patriotic, but indigenous communities never needed government promotion. For them, tepary wasn't emergency food. It was staple food, eaten daily, traded regionally, and considered superior to imported beans that demanded rivers to survive. We're told soybeans are the king of plant protein. The entire industrial food system is built on this assumption. Soy protein isolate, soy milk, tofu, tempeh, animal feed requiring millions of acres. Tepary beans contain 23 to 25% protein by weight. Soybeans contain 20 to 22% protein. That's equal or superior protein density. But here's what soy cannot do. Tepary produces this protein using 1/3 the water. Soybeans require 20 to 30 inches of water annually. Tepary produces the same yield on 8 to 12 inches, often from rainfall alone, with zero irrigation. This means tepary delivers the same protein per acre while saving 60 to 75% of the water. Think about that. The crop we're told is essential for feeding the world requires triple the water of a crop we've been taught to ignore. The nutritional superiority doesn't stop at protein. Tepary beans contain 24 to 28 grams of fiber per 100 grams. Soybeans contain 9 grams. That's 3 times more fiber than the crop we're told is nutritionally superior. Spinach, the vegetable we're conditioned to associate with health, contains 2.2 grams. Tepary has 12 times more. For iron, tepary delivers 6.8 milligrams per 100 grams. Soybeans provide 5.1. Spinach contains just 2.7. Tepary delivers 60% more iron than soy, and triple the iron of spinach. For calcium, tepary provides 140 to 180 milligrams per 100 grams. Milk contains 120. Soybeans contain 102. Tepary exceeds dairy by 50% and beats soy by 75%. You're getting bone-building calcium from a desert bean that requires no cows, no refrigeration, and no industrial dairy system. For magnesium, tepary contains 180 to 220 milligrams per 100 grams. Soybeans have 86. Spinach has 79. Tepary contains 2.5 times more magnesium than soy. Magnesium regulates blood pressure, supports muscle function, and stabilizes blood sugar. Critical for populations facing diabetes and heart disease. And we're getting it from a crop that grows in sand with 8 inches of rain. Beyond these numbers, tepary contains all 9 essential amino acids. It's particularly rich in lysine and leucine, the exact amino acids missing from corn and wheat. Traditional southwestern diets combine tepary with corn, creating a complete protein profile rivaling meat without requiring livestock, slaughter, or refrigeration. But the real miracle is how tepary achieves this, in conditions that kill other crops. Most beans open tiny pores in their leaves during hot days to breathe. This causes massive water loss through evaporation. Soybeans lose 300 to 400 gallons of water per pound of beans produced. Inside the cells, tepary concentrates sugars and proteins, creating an internal solution that prevents wilting even at 115 degrees. That temperature would kill soybeans within hours. Tepary thrives in it. The final advantage is speed. Tepary completes its entire life cycle in 60 to 90 days. Soybeans require 120 to 150 days. Tepary finishes before the worst of the drought arrives, while soybeans are still trying to flower. Below ground, tepary develops roots, reaching 6 to 8 feet deep within 30 days. Tepary was engineered by 5,000 years of desert selection to laugh at conditions that represent catastrophic failure for industrial agriculture. So if this plant is nutritionally superior, uses a fraction of the water, and has fed civilizations for millennia, why did it disappear? In 1947, everything changed. That year, massive federal irrigation projects came online across the American West. The Colorado River Project, the Central Valley Project, dams and canals delivering billions of gallons of subsidized water. Water that had been scarce suddenly appeared cheap, and a crop bred for scarcity became economically worthless. Tepary was removed from USDA agricultural statistics in 1950 due to insufficient commercial production. Government reports claimed farmers simply weren't interested. Extension agents said tepary was old-fashioned, suitable only for subsistence farming, not modern markets. This sounds reasonable on the surface. After all, agriculture was modernizing. Efficiency was the goal. But that's not the real reason. After World War II, federal policy shifted from conservation to consumption. Billions were invested in dams, canals, and irrigation infrastructure. These systems required constant water throughput to justify their expense. Tepary didn't need subsidized water. A farmer growing tepary in Arizona could produce 1,500 pounds per acre using only natural rainfall, maybe 10 inches total. That same farmer growing soybeans needed 25 to 30 inches, delivered through expensive irrigation systems paid for by taxpayers. Every acre of tepary represented an acre that didn't require federal water infrastructure. No infrastructure purchases, no ongoing maintenance contracts, no political justification for more dam construction. The entire post-war water economy was built on the premise that agriculture required massive irrigation. Tepary proved that premise false. Then there's the seed dependency model. Tepary is an open-pollinated variety. Farmers saved seed from each harvest and replanted the next year, a cycle repeated for 5,000 years without purchasing new seed. Industrial agriculture cannot monetize this. Seed companies need annual sales, hybrid seeds that degrade in the second generation, patented seeds that legally cannot be saved. Tepary offered none of these profit opportunities. Let's name the corporations that benefit from tepary's absence. Bayer Monsanto today controls 35% of the global soybean seed market. Total Bayer crop science revenue in 2022 was $52.6 billion. Their business model is elegant. Sell genetically modified soy seeds engineered to tolerate specific herbicides, particularly Roundup, also manufactured by Bayer Monsanto. Farmers buy the seeds, then buy the herbicide, then buy more seeds next year, because saved seed violates patent law. Tepary destroys this cycle. It's an ancient variety, no patents possible. It requires no herbicides because it evolved in the desert with natural pest resistance. And farmers can save seed indefinitely. Every advantage that makes tepary valuable to a small farmer makes it worthless to Bayer Monsanto. Corteva Agriscience, formerly DuPont Pioneer, controls 22% of the global soy seed market. Their 2022 revenue was $17.4 billion. Same model. Patented seeds, annual purchases, chemical packages. Tepary requires none of it. But there's a third villain nobody talks about. The irrigation industry. Lindsay Corporation sells center pivot irrigation systems. Annual revenue is $620 million. Valmont Industries manufactures irrigation equipment worth $1.2 billion annually. Netafim produces drip irrigation systems generating $1.1 billion per year. These companies sell $50,000 to $200,000 irrigation systems to farmers growing water-intensive crops like soy and corn. A farmer growing tepary doesn't need a $150,000 pivot irrigation system. They need clouds and patience. The global soybean market is worth $208 billion. U.S. Soy production alone is 4.4 billion bushels, requiring 20 to 30 inches of water per acre across millions of acres. If even 10% of that production shifted to tepary, you're looking at $20 billion in revenue loss, plus massive reductions in seed sales, chemical sales, and irrigation equipment sales. Every gallon of water tepary doesn't need is a gallon of subsidized water that doesn't get sold, an irrigation system that doesn't get built, and a profit margin that disappears. This is why tepary was erased. Not because it failed, because it succeeded in ways that couldn't be monetized. But here's what Bayer Monsanto and the USDA couldn't kill. While the government stopped tracking tepary in 1950, the Tohono O'odham Nation never stopped planting it. In 1983, ethnobotanist Dr. Gary Paul Nabhan co-founded Native Seeds in Tucson specifically to preserve tepary varieties that would have otherwise disappeared. Tribal elders had maintained seeds through 70 years of government neglect, passing them between families, planting in hidden fields. Today, Native Seeds maintains over 40 distinct tepary varieties, each adapted to different desert microclimates. The knowledge survived because the people who depended on it refused to let corporations tell them what to eat. And now the irony is complete. The industrial irrigation model that replaced tepary is collapsing. The Colorado River is drying up. Aquifers are depleted. Soybean farmers in the Midwest face increasing drought. Meanwhile, tepary still grows in Arizona with 8 inches of rain, exactly as it has for 5,000 years. Climate change is exposing the lie. The crops that required controlling nature are failing. The crop that adapted to nature's harshest conditions is still here. If you want to grow tepary, here's what you need to know. Tepary beans are small, about half the size of pinto beans. 2 main varieties exist. White tepary is cream-colored with mild flavor. Brown tepary is tan to brown with a nuttier taste. It prefers poor, sandy, rocky soil. Excess fertility actually reduces yield. It needs 8 to 12 inches of total water, often just from rainfall. Full sun. Tolerates 115-degree heat. Space seeds 2 to 3 inches apart in rows 24 inches apart. Avoid generic tepary bean from unknown suppliers. Some sellers market crossbred varieties that lost the drought tolerance. You want pure varieties from verified desert-adapted stock. 1 packet can produce enough beans to feed a family and provide seed for next year. Tepary grows in most of North America, from cold climates to hot deserts. Plant after the last frost when soil reaches 65 degrees. In the Southwest, that's late April to May. In northern zones, late May to early June. The entire crop matures in just 60 to 90 days. Here's the one thing you must not do. Do not overwater. Tepary evolved for drought. Excess moisture causes root rot and reduces protein content. Water at planting, then rely on natural rainfall. And never add nitrogen fertilizer. Tepary fixes its own nitrogen from the air. Adding fertilizer produces leafy green growth but dramatically reduces bean production. Safety note. Tepary must be fully cooked, like all beans. When you plant tepary, you're opting out of the model that says food must require irrigation infrastructure, annual seed purchases, and chemical dependency. You're proving that the most nutritious crops are the ones the industrial system abandoned because they couldn't be controlled. By planting a single row of tepary beans, you're not just growing protein. If you found value in this story, subscribe for more forgotten crops that still work when modern systems fail. And if you know someone tired of replanting the same seeds every year, share this with them. The Tohono O'odham kept this knowledge alive. Now it's our turn.